Okay. Sorry. So today we go with some Arduino concept related with our syllabus, that is Arduino programming structure. So considering with Arduino program structure, the Arduino program can divide in three main parts. Actually, it contains three main parts. First is related with the structure, uh, then the value. So value will be we consider as a variable or a constant and a function. So considering this programming structure, first we go with a software structure parameters. So software structure consists of two main functions. One is called as a setup function and second is called as a loop function. So just look out that how it can be a notify the mm, software structure, that is a setup. So we just look out that video setup, uh, the setup function and the while loop related with the loop function. So considering this parameter, in general terms of that, uh, the first new terminology in Arduino program is called as a sketch. So we generally say that this is a one type of a sketch. So it is just new terminology in a Arduino that used for the programming as a sketch. So considering with the that parameter, so when we consider the while loop related with the parameter, just look out here a while loop wide setup. So first we go with the setup function. So purpose of this setup function is uh, the setup function is called when the sketch start. Sketch start means say that one of the program will be a start. So we require it for the it is used to be a initialize the variables pin mo, models start using a library etc. The setup function will only run once after the each power up or the reset of the Arduino boards. So what we say that the setup function will be required to initialize the require library for the your program execution to initialize the number of variables. Then whatever the pins of Arduino that will be a we consider that. So it required to make initialization of the program, whatever the parameter required, supporting parameter will be required for a program that will be used uh, uh, make initialized by the setup functions. So it may be a input output and return. So considering with the while loop, so purpose of while loop is a after creating a setup function, or we say that initializing the required library variables and some pin modes, uh, which initialize and settles the initial value. The loop function does precisely what its name suggested. The loop constantly allow your program to change and respond. Use it to actively control the Arduino function. So whatever the number of functions we have used, that function will be we go with a while loops. Suppose we are saying that we are doing of addition to numbers, so that is one of the function which can be we use in a wide loop parameter. So number of function will be executed by the while loop. So setup function is to make to initialize the program requirement of their library and other parameter, and the while loop is used to be a make to execute of the sum of the functions. Examples like addition, subtraction, multiplication, whatever parameter we do in that one. So considering this parameter, uh, some of the variable we learn about the some variable of the Arduino. So variable in C programming language which Arduino use have a properly scope related with that variable. The scope is a region of program, and there are the three places where variable can be declared. So basically, there are three important places. They are inside a function or a block, which is called as a local variable. In the definition of function uh, parameter, which called as a formal parameters. and outside of all the function which called as a global variable. So basically, actually, there are two variables. We say that mostly the local variable and the global variable. So global variable are declared outside the function, and the local variable are declared within the loop or within the function. So local variable that are declared inside a function or a block are local variable. They can be used only by the statement that are inside that function or a block of code, right? But global variable are declared or defined outside of the function and usually at the top of the program. So global variable will hold their value through the lifetime of your program. So they are available throughout the program, right? Uh, Program. So a global variable can be accessed by any function. That is, a global variable is available for use throughout your entire program after the is declaration. So generally we say that there are two type of variable. One is called as a local and second is called as a global variable. So global variable will be a declared at the starting of program and which is outside the function, or we say that a block. But local variable are declared within the function and within the block. So just we understand by a some simple program. Just we say that suppose example we define a integer t and c. So we define their variable float c is equal to 0. So these are global variable declared outside the function. Void setup. This is a setup function. Before that we declare that. So it is a global. So it is available throughout the program. So void setup. Then we go with a while loop. So within the function, we declare this variable int x comma y. So that called as or int z, it is called as a local variable, which are declared within the function, not outside the function. But float c is equal to 0 or the whatever the integer t and g, whatever we declare here c is equal to 0, that it is a global variable. It is a global and it is throughout the available through the program. So x is equal to 0, y is equal to 0, actual initialization of the value, that there will be a declaration and this will be a initialize the value of that variable. So this is a global variable and a local variable. As per our C, we know that, about that concept. Same concept will be a follow in a Arduino, right? Global variable and a local variable. Considering this parameter, there is one important parameter related with Arduino with infinite loop. Sometimes infinite loop we say that which is continuously executing, or some tasks will be needed to repeat and repeat again. Either they satisfy the sum of the conditions. So it have to run executed continuously. So that concept will be a reflect in a infinite loop. In uh, an infinite loop in Arduino is a loop that run at um, identically without a terminating a condition. Without terminating any condition, he continuously execution. This can be achieved using different loop of construct, such as a for, while, and do while. So this infinite loop will be possible with for, while, and do while. So considering this infinite loop, um, for the for loop can be used to create an infinite loop by omitting the initialization condition and increment expressions. So how it can be just look out. So just look at the for in bracket that will be a consider, and your for loop will be a continuously going as a infinite. It continuously run infinite without any initialization and condition, without giving any condition. So that will be executed continuous and continuously. While considering with the while loop can be created an infinite loop by using a condition that always evaluate to the true. So while loop will be a consider that it is always true. So if it is a true, so it is continuously executed. It not be a terminated at any condition, because we say that it is a true condition. So it written as a while function, that is while in bracket true, and whatever the your condition about that the parameter in a your brackets. So do while loop. So do while loop can be also be created an infinity loop by using a condition that always evaluated a true, right? Do sum of that parameter while true. So do while also continuously executed. So that concept related with the infinite loop, we observe with some of the example. Just taking one example, blinking LED forever. So LED should be a continuously blinking. Here, an example of infinite loop in Arduino, blink uh, the LED and LED forever. So suppose we take as a wide setup. So we use the setup function. In setup function, we take as a pin mode LED uh, blink comma output. So it is initialize the LED pin as a output. So LED this but pin will be make as a output pin. In a function that is a wide loop, we go with a digital write, that is LED button blink low. It is low. That will be a turn the LED will be on. Delay, we given the delay. Wait for a second. Then digital write, LED blink low again. True turn of the LED. So considering with these two parameter, so there will be some relation with a parameter. So 100 millisecond it will be a continuously evaluating the that parameter. So that will be a considering with our uh, infinite loop. So in this example, the loop function run identically, turning the LED either on and off while a 1 second. So within a 1 second, we say that it will be turning on. So infinite loop are used in a embedded system like Arduino, where program is expected to run continuously. However, ensure that your code within the infinite loop does not causes the system to hang or become a unresponsive, right? That will be a parameter considering with a related with a your infinite loop. So this concept is related with the infinite loop. Same concept is related with the installation of software. How we install a Arduino with your in your system. So actually, there will be a step-by-step installation process. First, we have to download the software, whatever Arduino software. So go to the official Arduino website software, that is arduino.cc/software page, and download the latest Arduino IDE for your OS, that is operating system. Either it is a Windows, Mac, and Linux. Depend upon your operating system, you can be a download the respective version of Arduino IDE. That second step, install for the Windows. So if you have a Windows operating system, you go with that one. Run the downloaded file, that is the installer. Agree to the license and select the component. Default it is a related with the, is a file, whatever default setting. Crucially, allow the installation of the USB driver when promote as this as a lets your computer communicate with the Arduino board, right? So that is the one process for related with the Windows operating system. Same like for the Mac. So in a Mac, open the downloaded file, drag the Arduino IDE application to your application folder, and execute the installation of your uh, Arduino IDE software. In Linux, there will be some parameter do have to follow in Linux. Make the downloaded executable, whatever the file will be executed, just right click and GT. Then go in a property, then make a click on that one. Then take a permission related with allow some installation process in Linux because of security purpose. Then allow the execute. After that, double click on the file to be a run executed. So that parameter will be a go in a installation. Either you go with Windows, Mac, and the Linux. So this is the process of installation of the your Arduino software, Arduino IDE in your respective operating system. After installation, first use the launch parameter. Open the Arduino IDE from your start menu and the application folder or the desktop startup. Wherever you taking the file and shortcut, that will be a open. Connect the board, plug your Arduino board into your computer via USB. Do this after the installation of software for the first time. Before installing the any software, you do does not connect your Arduino board. After installation, you go with the connectivity through the USB. Select the board and port. So whatever that, the in the IDE, go to the select your specific Arduino board, whatever type of Arduino is, like Arduino Uno example. Go go to and select the COM that is related with the port your board is connected to you. So example, like whenever you go installation and connecting, there are number of port will be available. So whatever they are available, just you have select is like COM3 is one of the port on the Windows device related parameter. So you can go with that one. Then upload the code. So open a sketch file, example, whatever the basic JTI and blank. Then whatever the uploading file, and then go with the execution. So this process is considered with the installation of software. So you first go to the Arduino, download the software, Arduino software IDE as per your OS. Latest version you have to download and go with the whatever the process we have to telling about the Windows, a Mac process operating system or Linux operating system as per your OS. You can make and do the installation process. After that, follow this step and execute your codes. So this is a way of to be a communicating the number of parameters. So considering this parameter, after the installation, there is one parameter is called as a mostly we consider that uh, compiling, linking, and debugging in a Arduino. So how we compile, how we link, and how we debug the your programs related with the Arduino. So Arduino developed the process involves three key stages. First is the compiling, second is the linking, and third is the debugging. So we go one by one parameter. So compiling this process translate your human readable source code, that is whatever you type that one code, that is into a sketch or any associated with the C or C file, into a machine specific object code, that we say that dot o file, that is a object file. So we say that compiler is used to convert your machine human readable file into a machine level language or machine objective code, that we say that o file, that the target of microcontroller can be understand. So microcontroller will be understand the that language, that is the objective file. The IDE handles the influence of necessary Arduino core library, and board specify the configuration of Arduino. Right. So just like a setup in Arduino compiler, then pre-processing include the file added, then micro expandation dot .ino file convert into a dot .ccc file, then compiler, source code, object file, that is dot .os file, and syntax error for the detecting the whatever the parameters. So for this tool, we go with the AVR GCC compiler for Arduino Uno board. So some of the example of error, it may be a causes missing of semicolons, undefined variables, wrong function, that will be a possibly occurring the related with the errors. So linking. So after compiling, when we convert the human readable code into a machine code, or we say that um, into a machine specific object code, that is the objective object file dot o file, we go with the linking. After the individual object files are generated, the linker combine them into a single executable file. Specifically, we say that .hex. So there are n number of .o files will be created by a compiler. So we need to be a link all the that objective file into a single file for the execution purpose. for the execution purpose. So we say that that will be a file is called as a .hex file for the AVR based board. It resolves the reference between the different port of the code and include only the necessary port of the standard library. So linking is the process of combining your compiled objective file, the Arduino core library, then external library into one executable file that is called as a .hex. So whatever the number of objective file will be created by a compiler, that will be converted into a single .hex file by a linker. So they link the number of objective file into a single file, right? So that will be a parameter related with that. After that, we go with the debugging. So third stage is called as a debugging. So debugging is a process of identifying and fixing the error in your code. While the basic Arduino IDE does not offer a built-in interactive debugger by default, there are several effective methods. So in debugging, there are different methods they use for the debugging parameter. So this will be a third stage for the your parameter. So whenever you go with that parameter, there are in debugging, there is a first debugging method is a serial port debugging, or we say that it is a traditional method. The most common and simple method is to be a send and execute the information about your program uh, state. That is example variable value, current execution point to your computer serial monitoring using a serial dot print function. So that can be a easiest method, or we say that traditional method where the we can define the value of number of variables and current execution point, whatever that parameter. So is a pros easy to implement with no extra hardware required. Cons, whatever the cons about that one, require additional print statement throughout your codes and make it difficult to pause the program executing at a specific moment of inspect and variables. And second, in hardware step by step debugging, for more complex object or more complex program, you can use a hardware debugger or IDE that support the step by step execution. We can execute it step by step execution. This allow you pause the program execution at the specific lines. That is a breakpoint. We say that set up through the code line and inspect variable value in a real times. So there are number of tools will be used or method used for the step-by-step execution is like external IDEs, environment like Visual Studio Code, which can be a platform of IO extension offering a robust debugging compatibility, offering leverage like a average debugging. So that is one of the method. Second is a dedicated hardware using a spread hardware debugger like a J junction probe provide full access to be a microcontroller to internal register and a memory. Then Arduino, another is Arduino as a debugger. You can be a configure Arduino board to act as a hardware debugger for the another recruiting the specific writing and framework uploading the debugger board. So how they work? Just look at the flow arduino.code.eno. So that is a your code that is human readable code that need to be a convert into a objective file by a compiler. So there are n number of objective file will be created by the compiler depend upon the codes. Then it go to the linker. So linker what will we do? It convert all the objective file into a single file. That file is called as a .hxc file. After that, we go to upload this file and go with the debugging. Depend upon the which method we use the debugging, either the serial port debugging, either hardware or step-by-step debugging, or the any one of the method that will be debugged, and the Arduino upload on the Arduino board, and we can go with the execution. So this is one of the process parameter related with the compiling, linking, and the debugging parameter of the Arduino board. So that parameter will be clear here. So considering this parameter, today we learn about the program structure. So it consists two type of functions mostly related with the software structure, that is either the setup function or the loop function. Setup function is mostly used to initialize the required file and libraries of to execute the program, and loop function whatever the number of function we executed which run in a within that loop. Then we go with the Arduino variable. So just we observe the two type of variable, local and global variable. So global level will be declared outside the function and which are available throughout the program. But local variable are declared within the function or within the block, which can be executed within the loop, right? So that parameter we observe with example. Then we go with the infinite loop. So we define infinite loop by the three parameter, that is either for loop or while loop or do while loop, that concept. Then we go with the installation of software. So depend upon the OS, which type of OS can do the setup. Then we go with the compiling, linking, and debugging in a Arduino. So that is a concept related with a parameter of that work concept. So we go with the some of the Arduino parameter. Uh, so go learn about that one. Try to execute this program so you can understand more properly. So practical execution will be needed. So try to download your Arduino software as per the your OS. Make whatever the step I explain. Do the installation of that one and try to execute that one. So how the infinite loop will be a work, how the setup function will be a loop, how the loop function will be a loop, the working of compiler, linker, and debugger. So that parameter will be a cover in this lecture.